How would you like to sail in the bluest, clearest water in the world? How would you like to go fishing for lobster in Key West one day and have dinner in Cuba the next? How would you like to travel exotic places and get paid for doing it? Our guest today did just that on our own sailboat, a 52-foot vessel named Vantage, and while delivering the yachts throughout the South Atlantic. Based in North Florida, she sailed and visited almost every seaside village from Georgia to Trinidad. She also got paid to write about her travels as a freelance travel writer for the New York Daily News and other publications. It was the time of her life, and now Serena Brown wants to share it with all of you. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, personalities. And now, join our host, Monet Stringfellow.
Hello, I'm your host, Monet Stringfellow. Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people you are about to meet are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring you this program with as few mistakes as possible. Each student has written and directed 4 different productions. This program will give you the chance to talk to them about themselves, their productions, and their planning to watch this progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is an experienced sailor who is here to share experience with you. Hi, Serena.
Hi, Monet.
Can you tell us more about what you would like to, Can you tell us more about what got you into sailing?
Sure. I went on 2 big trips to Europe and then the Caribbean when I was 22. I wrote about both those trips, and those stories were the first stories that I got published in the New York Daily News. After that, I got offers from hotels and travel agencies, which I took advantage of and built relationships. Isn't pictures? Okay. With editors. When I was 24, I went back to the Caribbean and stayed for 2 months in St. Thomas. I went sailing for fun after that. It was in St. Thomas that I became friends with boat captains and crew who sailed around the world for a living. I went sailing for fun and learned the ropes with them. They hired me for $200 a day to sail back to Florida with them, which was where I was living at the time. It was basically a free sailing trip home. After that trip, I didn't stop sailing for 3 years. I crewed deliveries and traveled everywhere, even Cuba. I wrote travel stories and sometimes worked as a waitress, but I saved everything I made. After a year, I bought my own boat, which is pictured here, and I moved out of my apartment. I decided to stay exclusively on my boat for at least a few months. I was obsessed with sailing, and that's all I wanted to do. When I wasn't sailing, I was relaxing on my boat, which I anchored for free in St. Augustine. When I wanted to go to shore, I had to kayak or hitch a ride with a motorized dinghy. It didn't really look, it kind of looked like that one. Okay. I had to go to shore for hot showers and laundry. I had no television and only a small 12-volt DVD player. Energy was limited since it came from solar panels, so at night I used candlelight to make sure I had enough power to play a movie, at least one movie. But when I look back, having no TV was what made it so much more of an experience. I loved being on the boat at night under the candlelight, and I was really able to develop myself as an artist and a person. It wasn't always easy and fun, but I learned a lot about myself by pushing the limits physically and emotionally. Being on a sailboat full-time can be hard work, but it was definitely worth it. After all, I always had $1 million view, like the mansions on shore, and there was never a shortage of fresh fish. That picture is a picture of me from the top of the mast, and it was fun.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And now can you tell us why you decided to take the TV productions course?
Yeah, sure. I've always been a little bit curious about what goes into television and film production, especially the software and post-production side of it. I was always interested in the current video cameras, and I was interested in producing my own projects. I don't really see this as a career in the future, but I have no doubt that it will definitely contribute to my career as a writer.
What are some of the most useful things you've learned in this course?
Well, I learned how to operate video cameras, and I learned the basic elements of filmmaking, like composition, sequencing, scripting, and storyboards. I also learned video and audio editing and post-production editing. Overall, I really gained a sense of the importance of the team and how every role in the production is key to the success of the production.
Please tell us about your sequence you filmed, your Where's My Orange project, and the Fall Foliage project.
Well, first I learned to edit Avid with the previously recorded project called Guns and Hoses. It was a cute, fun video to help me get acquainted with Avid, basically. Then, after this wonderful Guns N' Roses video, I learned how to film a sequence, which I couldn't have done without this Guns N' Roses learning experience. And plus, it was fun to watch these guys with their boxing gloves get angry at each other. So in the sequence, I used basic camera techniques like close-ups, different shots and action sequences. I also used other students and directed them, which was a learning experience to use my classmates as actors. They did the best they could. And the project got me familiar with the language of production, basically, and it taught me not to make any camera moves. That was probably one of the most important things that I learned, no camera moves. And at least not at this point in my filming education. Then after that, I did the project Where's My Orange? And I used the techniques that I learned from the first project, and I also got introduced to storyboarding, which was a lot of fun for me, even though I'm a terrible artist. I used close-ups to convey emotion, and I learned to tell a story with no sound, only expression and action. Although I did add sound later, but for the most part, the filming was done with the having no sound in mind. And finally, I filmed my Fall Foliage project. In this project, I put everything I learned together into the project, basically. Composition, titles, framing techniques, zooming. I also used the editing skills to correct and build this project. And I also put music to the mood of the video footage, or to make the video footage have more of a better mood. And it was a lot of fun. It was definitely my favorite project.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about your favorite project?
Okay. That, of course, was my Fall Foliage project, and it was the most fun because I really got to get outside, and it was during the most beautiful, colorful time of year, so I had a lot of fun just going out in the park and filming. The colors were just gorgeous. So during those couple weeks where I was filming it, it really taught me to stop and look at my surroundings and appreciate the beauty. So that was one reason it was my favorite. But also, I enjoyed filming it and putting music to it to create the mood. And as you can see here, I showed emotional lines, lines of grace, some converging lines in some of the shots, and I also illustrated the rule of thirds, framing, and simplicity in this project. So it was a lot of stuff. It was everything from the semester sort of put together that I had learned, and I really enjoyed it. And putting the music to it was really fun too, because we got to choose from any kind of music we wanted. I chose Mozart, personally. That was it. There is music also to this. There was music.
What would you like to create next?
Well, that's a tough question, but if I had to think of something, I guess I would like to create a documentary type film that showed the trials and tribulations of blue water sailing. I think it would be a lot of fun to record the goings-on of a crew stuck alone together in a tiny boat 90 miles offshore with, not close to anything. It can get really interesting, and there's a lot of drama that goes along with that. So if anything, it would make a good reality show, but it would be nice to make a documentary about that.
We hope you enjoy meeting one of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us in each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and good day.